Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Written in Red Wednesdays. I want to thank you all so much for coming, and this is going to be an amazing episode, I hope. I'm starting a couple minutes early. I'm sorry if you guys are missing it. I do apologize, but you guys can check it out in a little bit once the stream stops. But I will be repeating the poem basically throughout the stream, just for people that are tuning in and catching it last minute basically. But before I actually even start the poem, because I do want to wait till it kind of fills up a little bit, I just want to say that this year it's going to be amazing, not just for me with this whole Written Red Wednesdays project that I'm starting, that I kind of just was given the idea to do, but kind of really actually went forward with it now that that the sesh has kind of taken a little bit of a hiatus. Twan and I are kind of doing our own things right now, but we're both very active in each other's lives still. So I love you, Twan, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to still work with you, aside from the sesh. Secondly, if you guys caught my announcement feed when I was announcing this back in like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I said that January 6th at Back Booth was going to be my good friend Pat Woods' last Orlando show before leaving to Boston. And let me just say that was one of the best shows I have ever seen in Orlando. And that takes a lot for me to say, because I've seen a lot of great shows in the last 3 or 4 years of me doing this. But that show was it was mind-blowing. There was so much love. There was performances by Palmer Reed. There was performances by Dre Lou and One North Orange and Noemi. That show was just, it was mind-blowing, and I'm honored to have been able to be there and witness greatness in the making. And Pat, Orlando is going to miss you like crazy, but I know it's for the best. I know that it's your time to go and spread your wings and fly and become a greater man than you already are. Every time I talk to people about Pat, I always tell them one thing. I met Pat in high school. Pat was very, very friendly and very kind and very sweet, and he still is. That's one thing that hasn't changed about Pat in the last almost 10 years of me knowing him. So when I say that I love him to death, it's not because he's one of my fellow artists or just because he's a friend. I mean, he is a friend, but he's more like family to me. Like, he's more of, he knew me before I was Nat the poet. He knew me before I started anything of any of this. He knew me when I was this awkward little girl in high school who didn't know what she wanted to do with the rest of her life. And to have him really witness what I've become, it's an honor. And I love him to death, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I do, maybe I'll go visit you soon, Pat, who knows, but I do, again, wish you the best. And my birthday isn't going to be the same without you this year, but I'm not going to get emotional on you, I promise. I did great in not crying at the show on Friday, so I'm not going to do it now where thousands of people are literally watching me right now. But if you tuned in on Christmas, my hair was longer and it was darker. I went blonde. What do you guys think? Like, was that a little much? I feel like everyone, I love it. I personally love it. But everyone was like, oh my gosh, Nat, it suits you so well. It's a great look on you. It looks nice. It's wonderful. So yeah, I did that. I went blonde. Holy shit. My dad hates it, but what else can I say? In the last couple weeks after I streamed the first one, my year started off great. I got a raise at work already, and I've only been there 3 months. My numbers are great. So, thank God for giving me the opportunity to land such an amazing job where I can still do what I love and also work my ass off. That's always very rewarding, and I like that, that I have such great people around me at work and also in my life who constantly push me and motivate me to be great every single day. So for those of you who didn't tune in to the live feed when I first did it to announce this project, John, you're so stupid. I hate you. Basically, what this is gonna be is I had an idea because I was feeling kind of down now that the session has been taking a bit of a hiatus, you know, and I was like now what am I supposed to do with the rest of my Wednesdays? Like now that I don't have anything to really look forward to on my days off anymore, since we're not gonna have the sesh, and like so it really hurt me that we weren't gonna do any like that at the moment, but we are coming back for sure. Like don't say don't I don't want you guys to think that this is a goodbye, because it's not. This is more of we're taking a break to kind of revamp the show. But I was like, so what am I gonna do till the show comes back? Because Twan is doing his own thing as well. So my roommate was like, why don't you start like a live feed with your poems and stuff? And I was like, I didn't put too much thought into it at the very moment when we were driving, but I was like, you know what? She might be onto something good, like cool here. So I thought about it thought about how to name it, what I was gonna do with it. And so since my days off from work are Sundays and Wednesdays, I was gonna what I'm gonna be doing is I'll try to write something at least while I'm at work or on my days off, whatever, and then practice it and then perform it for you guys on Wednesdays. That's why it's called Written Red Wednesdays, along with the whole red lipstick and hip hop thing, which if you don't know, if you're tuning in today and you didn't tune in to the last one or didn't watch the last video, I'm sorry for those of you who have heard this 1,000 times. But this is basically red lipstick and hip hop. What it is basically, I started off as my Twitter, my Tumblr name, and then I started school. Well, I started a semester that August of 2013, and I took a creative writing workshop class because at the time I already knew that I want to be a writer. I want to be a writer, and this is what if this is what I have to do to, really make it, then I'm gonna take this class. So I took this class, and it was incredible. I loved it so much. We had so much work to do. We did a lot of different things. And my professor was like, we had to write a poem about something, about anything really. So I wrote a poem about how hip hop was being brutalized in a way that she shouldn't have, and he loved it. He absolutely was just in love with the poem. And so he was like, why don't you perform at our open mic in a couple weeks or next month? And I was like, sure. So that was September of 2013. The poem that I did that night was actually really personal to me. I have to find it and rewrite it so that I can perform it for you guys at the sesh in a couple of months or whatever. It was about how my brother overcame his alcoholism, and I wrote that thing in 5 minutes, and I left my house. I didn't memorize it, nothing. This is when I was just still writing it on paper and just taking it with me. My rhymes were forced. It was a lot that I still had to learn, really. So so I took it to school. I performed that night. My aunt was there. My cousin was there. We were all crying because it was a very personal poem for us at the time. And so the reaction that I got from that poem was just incredible. Like, people loved it so much. I had people coming up to me, that poem reminded me of how I they would tell me that of how they overcame their alcoholism, and how me saying that poem inspired them to stay sober, and that just meant so much to me. So that was that. And then someone had reached out to me, someone who became very dear to me, reached out to me telling me, hey, I'm doing this open mic, and I heard that you're a poet. You should come out and perform. So I said, okay. At the time I had already had the Red Lipstick and Hip Hop Instagram, where I would put pieces of poems on there and have people give me feedback, or pieces of stories that I was working on, have people give me feedback. It was great. I loved doing it because it was something that I was doing in class, but something that I could also do at home while I was just relaxing or whatever. So whatever, fast forward, I do this open mic with this girl named Veronica, who again became one of my greatest friends till this very, very day, and I love her to death for all the opportunities that she's given me thus far, So So 2014, she came up to me. She was like, listen, I love your work. You're great. And I'm starting this thing called The Sesh next month. And I need you to be part of it. And I said, okay, sure. So I go into The Sesh at Docs in 2014, not knowing what the hell I'm getting into. I go into The Sesh at Docs and I fell in love instantly, because that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I met so many great people the very first day I was there who are still thankfully part of my life. My whole family was there. My sister, all of her friends, my mom, my aunts, my cousins. It was a very humbling experience for me. Then, a year went by, 2 years went by, and I ended up becoming admin of this show that I had started out with. Because of this show, again, I had worked with Pat Woods. I had worked with just so many. I had the chance to meet Palmer fucking Reed and become great friends with him. Palmer, I fucking love you. Jeff and Tony from TSA, you guys, again, great opportunities. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done for me. So with all those opportunities, I was able to start this this project, Written in Red Wednesdays. Now, you guys are going to have to forgive me. I just started memorizing the poem today, so I don't have it fully, completely, totally memorized. So I do have it on a piece of paper. So this one I wrote in November after going through something with someone who's still very dear and close to me. And we went through a situation where I feel that it shouldn't have gone that way, but life has a funny way of teaching you things, teaching you how strong you are, and teaching you who's really going to be there for you when you're not feeling yourself, and who's really going to be there for you when you don't know that you're losing yourself. And this person that this poem was about, they taught me a lot about myself in a very short amount of time, to the point where I had no other choice but to be strong at this point, because I was thrown for a loop. I was thrown for a loop at how I thought this person was one of the greatest people in the world, and then in just a split second, my trust for them went from 100 to 0, and it was one of the worst. Not one of the worst, because I don't want to say that much. I don't want to make it seem that drastic, but it was a horrible experience for me to really feel that way about feel so highly about someone, and then notice that I shouldn't have held them as such a pedestal. You know what I mean? And this person is still, again, part of my daily life, and I appreciate him for that every day. What can I say? Thank you for being there. I do appreciate it. And so this is, like I said, this one I wrote it in November, and this one is called Girls Like Me. Girls like me, we move different. Our hearts make up for what we lack in height, so we have a habit of falling into things like quicksand, leaving us clenched in Cupid's chokehold. I may stumble, but I'm guaranteed to never trip about it. See, because girls like me, we fall harder. On a bad day, we're thunder and lightning. On a better day, we're just rain. And on our worst day, we're hurricane winds. Although small, we shake shit up when we storm into a place. And girls like me, no matter how hard we fall for men whose cold shoulders give us a pedestal, have given us a pedestal to stand on, we always become their hype woman, never their girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance and are forgotten about once their feature comes on stage. Our love is often appreciated, but less likely to be looked for again. We weren't equipped with the proper credentials to accommodate arrogance, so to these men we are flawed. Our legs won't spread like butter, so they keep us on back burners. Don't they understand we work best under pressure? I may stumble, but girls like me were not taught to kiss the ground you walk on. So that was Girls Like Me, and I'm gonna be doing it throughout the episode, till I get till I get tired of doing it, really. But this is just kind of like a practice round for me for when I do get the chance to perform this and share it with the rest of the world. Thank you guys for sharing this and tuning in, and you guys are great, and I love you all so much. One thing I did actually want to mention is that one of my really, really good friends, Nicey most likely, he released a project on Monday called Solstice. I was given the absolute honor of hosting his listening party at CTC Studios. Thank you so much, Wes. We appreciate your time. That was great. Great vibes, great people, great music. We had everyone in the building that night. That was awesome. Thank you again, Wes, for letting us do that. But Nicey, I just want to say that I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for really sticking to what you know that you know, and also expanding on it. Because when I met Nicey at the sesh last year, he was introduced to me by himself as a spoken word artist. So he did a piece about the show Doug, where he said the whole Dear Diary shit, and it was phenomenal. People that were there that night were just giving him props the whole night, and it was great. Nicey, I loved it, and I love you. So throughout the year, he's kind of opened up to me about how he's a songwriter and how he's also a rapper. So he put this project together called Solstice of about 4 songs, and they blew me away. Because I knew the kind of talent he has, because I've seen him perform more than once. I know the kind of talent this man is equipped with, but for him to be brave enough and for him to be comfortable and confident enough to really show the world that was amazing on Sunday. And I'm so honored that I was given that chance to host that for you, because I wouldn't have had it. I know that you would not have had it any other way, and I wouldn't have had it any other way either. So again, like I said that night, Nicey, you're my brother, my partner in writing, one of my best friends, my partner in crime, my partner in petty, my partner literally in everything, and I love you. And again, I'm so proud of you guys. Go listen to Solstice right fuck now. It's on SoundCloud. Go look for that. I will drop the link later on my Facebook. It's somewhere on my Facebook as well, so just look for that when you guys can. But for those of you just tuning in, I just did a piece called Girls Like Me, and it's a new one that I wrote in November, that I hadn't really had the courage to even look at or practice because of what it reminded me of and where I was when I wrote it mentally and emotionally. But now that I've started to really peel myself out of those emotions, out of that emotional strain, I think I'm good with being able to share this with the rest of you and the rest of the world and whoever's watching this. Again, thank you guys for those of you who are sharing. That's amazing. I hope that this Written in Red Wednesdays thing does take off in the direction that I want it to take off in, and that's obviously up. And here's Girls Like Me again. For those of you who weren't watching when I first did Girls Like Me, I'm actually reading it off a piece of paper, trying to memorize the lyrics, because I want to be able, that's kind of how my practice routine goes. I read it off my phone 1,000 times, and I'll record it in a voice audio to play it back so I can listen to it when I have time to do so. But because the goal with Written in Red Wednesdays is to kind of practice with you guys and to show you guys the practice process, so I'm a piece of paper right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And again, please feel free to tell me, hey Nat, you're going too fast. Hey Nat, this and that, or just whatever, give me positive feedback. Tell me something that I should change up. Tell me something. Give me something, guys, because I know that a lot of my artist friends are watching. I don't want to call you guys artist friends, because you guys are my friends. You guys are my family. I appreciate you guys and for sticking by me and loving me and appreciating me for the way that you guys have since I've met you. So here it is again. Girls like me, we move different. Our hearts make up for what we lack in height. So we have a habit of falling into things like quicksand, leaving us clenched in Cupid's chokehold. I may stumble, but I'm guaranteed to never trip about it. See, because girls like me, we fall harder. On a bad day, we're thunder and lightning. On a better day, we're just rain. And on our worst day, we're hurricane winds. Although small, we shake shit up when we storm into a place. And girls like me, no matter how hard we fall for men whose cold shoulders have given us a pedestal to stand on, we always become their hype woman, never the girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance and are forgotten about once their features come on stage. Our love is often appreciated, yet less likely to be looked for again. We weren't equipped with the proper credentials to accommodate arrogance, so to these men, we are flawed. Our legs won't spread like butter, so they keep us on back burners. Don't they understand we work best under pressure? I may stumble, but girls like me were not taught to kiss the ground you walk on. Again, that was Girls Like Me, and feel free to, if you liked it, thumbs up. If you loved it, heart emoji, whatever. Actually, for those of you who are actually tuned in right now, can you guys, if you're on your phones, which you guys pretty much probably are, please drop a red lip emoji so that I know who's in here. Okay, I'll be looking for them, but please drop that while I'm actually talking and kind of giving you guys a little bit more information with what I'm doing. So, again, with the whole redlipstickandhiphop.com thing, it started off as just me showcasing my poems and showcasing stories even, and doing a little bit of a lot, which is what I like to say about what it is that I actually do, because people that tell me, like, what is it that you actually do, Nat? And so I tell them, before anything, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, but I am also a blogger, I am a photographer, and I am a lover of all things hip-hop. For those of you who know me personally, who met me through these shows, I have become friends with some of the greatest people in Orlando, and I love everyone that I've come in contact with. I've tried to help people as to the best of my ability to kind of get their name out there, because I feel like when I started doing this, like coming out as an artist, no one was really there for me as much as I would have wanted them to be. Like, I get it, there are people with jobs, there are people that can't make time for, to go to shows, or there are people who just don't have time for anything really, but they try their best to try to support me anyway, and I'm so grateful for that. I do appreciate people who, go out of their way to support me. Nate, I love you more. Again, this has been a very long journey for me, and I'm glad to still be here doing what I love to do. And I love the people that I've been graced to meet, the people who have known me for a very long time and are surprised with what I'm doing now. Like, look at me. I didn't think I was gonna be one of the people in the city who is most known or who is celebrated so much. I didn't think that would come to this. I really didn't. I honestly had no idea what I was getting into, again, the first time I went to the sesh. But now wherever I go, hey, aren't you Nat from the sesh? Or even at work. Like, at work, I work at Westgate, Lake Eleanor. It's a call center here in Orlando. And because Twan, the sesh host, also works there as in a different department, people have gone to the sesh because he tells them about it. And so, like, they'll recognize me, like, hey, aren't you the girl from the sesh who works with Twan? And I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, yeah, how are you? It's crazy to see people kind of when I'm out of my element that I only see whenever I'm in my element. But yeah, I mean, again, like, I'm kind of just like summarizing basically what I said in the other video. But again, if it weren't for the support of my friends and my family who do go out of their way to truly support me, Nat wouldn't be Nat. I would still be Natalie. I would still be Nathy. I would still not be confident enough to truly push myself to what I have done. But I mean, what can I say? Like, Red Lipstick and Hip Hop took a whole leap of faith for me to continue with this, because some days I was like, maybe I should stop. Maybe I suck. Maybe that's why people aren't showing me as much love as I would want them to. Maybe I'm just not a good writer. Maybe there are people who are better than me who deserve the spotlight that I feel like I've been given because of my charismatic personality. and I'm not even tooting my own horn, because people have told me, like, Nat, people love you because you're so nice and you're so loving and you're so caring. And I feel like maybe that's why I've also been put in the situations that I've been put in, where people take advantage of my kindness and just kind of run with it, you know. And but 2017 will not be that year for me anymore. 2017 will be the year of me, be the year of the choices that I decide to make, the choices that I know are better for me, instead of, because I feel like right now, at the moment, my head and my heart are kind of not finding common ground, and so I always think with my heart and not my head, and so I have to stop doing that. But here goes girls like me again. Girls like me, we move different. Our hearts make up for what we lack in height, so we have a habit of falling into things like quicksand, leaving us clenched in Cupid's chokehold. I may stumble, but I'm guaranteed to never trip about it, because girls like me, we fall harder. On a bad day, we're thunder and lightning. On a better day, we're just rain. And on our worst days, we're hurricane winds. Although small, we shake shit up when we storm into a place. And girls like me, no matter how hard we fall for men whose cold shoulders have given us our own pedestal to stand on, we always become their hype woman, never the girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance, and are forgotten once their feature comes on stage. Our love is often appreciated, but less likely to be looked for again. We were not equipped with the proper credentials to accommodate arrogance, so to these men we are flawed. Our legs won't spread like butter, so they keep us on back burners. Don't they understand we work best under pressure? I may stumble, but girls like me were not taught to kiss the ground you walk on. Again, you know, for those of you who are in here and did listen to the poem a third time around, please drop a red lip emoji so that I can know who's in here, and again, thank you all properly. So yes, for those of you just tuning in, that was Girls Like Me, the very end of it, for those of you who just tuned in. Again, I would not be here if it weren't for a lot of you pushing me to my limit, basically emotionally and mentally, and in the hardworking sense, where a lot of you don't understand the kind of influence you put on me when you tell me certain things. So some of you, I get it. You're being hard on me because it's tough love, but writers don't need tough love. We need real love. We need to be reassured. Me as a person, because I struggle with anxiety very openly, actually, I like to be reassured a lot. Like, if I'm with somebody, like, I'm gonna ask you 10 times a day, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, is this what we're gonna do? And, you know, a lot of them will tell me yes till their breath runs out or till they fucking turn blue. But I mean, at the very next day, it's a whole different story. So I like to be reassured that I do have people support. And it's crazy that support comes from people you least expect it to come from. I mean, again, a lot of these local artists that I've been blessed to become friends with, they support me till the very end, and I'm so grateful for that, because again, I feel like I go so hard for so many people, and a lot of them are just like, oh cool, one extra person supporting me, but that's not how I see it for me. When people truly wholeheartedly support me, it means the world to me, because I know that I could be doing anything else, but I chose to become a writer. I chose to become a poet. I chose to literally give my heart to people on stage. My heart goes out to everyone every time I'm on stage. Pieces of me go out to everyone who's on stage, because I've had people come up to me like, Nat, that was incredible. Nat, you know, that I resonated with that. And I mean, I don't want to speak too much on this, but you know, I've been working on a book. With my poems for the last couple years. I lost the first manuscript of it 2 years ago. I cleaned out my computer and it was very upsetting because I lost everything. But I mean, at the same time, it was like, okay, those poems were from my very beginning, and I don't think I want to share those anymore. So I've written so many poems since August of 2015 that I would love to share with people, you know, and kind of give people a little bit more insight, more insight of me than I've already shared. Like, you know, this book, I probably share so much more of my story that than you guys think you know about me, because I know that I'm very open about my anxiety, my depression, and my disability with the hydrocephalus. It hasn't been easy to be a female artist in this industry, and because of my physical limitations. You know, I walk into a room and the first thing people notice is she's different. And yes, I'm different, but I'm different in more ways than one. I'm different in the sense that I'm very open to meeting people. I'm very open to having conversations with people. I'm an all-around just big old bag of fun. But what stops a lot of people from talking to me is my limp. I'll walk into a room and the first thing I see is someone looking down, and I know they're looking at, you know, they'll point kind of like, what the fuck? They'll laugh kind of like, what the fuck? And people don't think I noticed that, but I do. So my only wish for 2017 is that I don't get treated differently because of my disability, but that I get treated differently because I'm one of the many people in this city who is trying to make a difference. Not only for women in the industry, not just for poets, but for people with disabilities who want to do so much, but aren't given the opportunity to do so because of, again, their physical limitations. And again, people that do love me, because people that love me regardless of anything, I'm grateful, extremely grateful. And I know that a lot of you have heard this story before. You know, many of you have heard me ramble on about, oh God, that's limp again, that's limp again, but it's hard not to notice it, not to think about it when I have to live with it every single day of my life. I mean, I've done therapy. I've tried to make it better. I try to hide it, but it's not as easy as people think it is. You know, it's something that's part of me. And it's something that's part of me. And I'm sick of being treated differently or being looked at differently because of it. So please help me in trying to stop that stigma of disabled people are not to be looked at as great people, because I mean, oh God, this is not supposed to be the plan. Guys, you're not supposed to have me crying on this thing. This is not the plan. But I just feel like I just had to open up to you guys because it's something that's been eating at me for years. And again, I talk about it with people all the time. I feel like no one's ever listening to me. So, again, this is again my thank you to everyone. Angelica, I'm sorry, I love you so much. Oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get to this poem while I'm crying, and I'm so sorry, but this is gonna be the last run through for the night. Again, I just want to thank everyone who tuned in. I love you all so much. It means the world to me. Stop. Okay. So this poem, the last time I'm running through it, again, for those of you who are just tuning in and just caught my crying rant, the poem I'm doing is Girls Like Me, and here it is. Hold on, because I can't even see. Okay. Girls like me, we move different. Our hearts make up for what we lack in height. So we have a habit of falling into things like quicksand, leading us to clenching Cupid's chokehold. I may stumble, but I'm guaranteed to never trip about it. See, because girls like me, we fall harder. On a bad day, we're thunder and lightning. On a better day, we're dust rain. And on our worst days, we're hurricane winds. Although small, we shake shit up when we storm into a place. See, because girls like me, and girls like me, no matter how hard we fall for men whose cold shoulders have given us a pedestal to stand on, we always become their hype woman, never the girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance, and are forgotten about once their feature comes on stage. Our love is often appreciated, yet less likely to be looked for again. We weren't equipped with the proper credentials to accommodate arrogance, so to these men we are flawed. Our legs don't spread like butter, so they keep us on back burners. Don't they understand we work best under pressure? I may stumble, but girls like me, we're not taught to kiss the ground you walk on. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was amazing to have so many of you here, giving me your feedback and letting me open up to you so wildly. For everyone who tuned in, again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience with me. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the shares, likes, the comments, everything. The next two poems I'm actually working on, one of them is kind of like an open letter to my grandmother, who passed away in 2003. I was 12. I've always felt like she thought I was gonna be this perfect little person, you know, never anything. I just feel like I was always her like most prized possession. She loved me so much, and I did too. And so this is kind of like the next poem is that I'll be doing hopefully next week if I finish it in time, is an open letter to her to apologize. Basically, like, listen, I'm not even gonna tell you guys what it is honestly. Oh man. Okay. Actually, I think I might just do one more run through of the poem. But the next two poems I'm working on, like I said, would be the open letter to my grandmother, kind of like an open letter to my grandmother, but also an ode to Kanye, because this is kind of you guys are gonna see how I'm mixing those two concepts together. It was very dope when I started at work. And this other one that I'm actually also working on I started it on Christmas Eve at work. Yes, I worked Christmas Eve. Ain't that some shit? I started it at work a few weeks ago, and I had forgotten about it because I was just using it. I was just writing at, just like pass the time or whatever. But I did that, and I found it yesterday in my notebook at work, and I was like, maybe I should finish this. So I kind of went back into it and added a couple things. Hopefully I'll be able to finish that by then too. But if anything, the letter to my grandmother, ode to Kanye, probably be next week's poem. And the other one that I continued will be the week after that. Again, this was episode 1 of Written Red Wednesdays, and for those of you just tuning in, I've had my viewers crying, I've had them laughing, I've had them showing a lot of love. Nicey is tuning in, guys. Say hi to Nicey. Hello, Nicey. That again, it was an honor hosting your your listening party on Sunday. Thank you so much for being such an amazing person to work with and be friends with and be around all the time, because without you, my confidence would still be at like 50. Now it's at like 100. I'm being so serious. Nice. Like I'm being dead ass. Yo, where's Katina at? Yo, Katina, I'm being dead ass right now. I'm being dead ass. Where you at? But no, again, yeah, do that. Rewatch, because I'm about to finish this shit. When I saw that you just tuned in, I was like, what the hell? But it's all good. It's whatever. Better late than never, like I always say. But here's actually just a run through of Girls Like Me, so that y'all don't have to hear me crying through it again. Girls like me, we move different. Our hearts make up for what we lack in height, so we have a habit of falling into things like quicksand, leaving us clenched in Cupid's chokehold. I may stumble, but I'm guaranteed to never trip about it. See, because girls like me, we fall harder. On a bad day, we're thunder and lightning. And on a better day, we're just rain. And on our worst days, we're hurricane winds. Although small, we shake shit up when we storm into a place. And girls like me, no matter how hard we fall for men whose cold shoulders have given us our own pedestal to stand on, we always become their hype woman, never their girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance, and are forgotten about once their feature comes on stage. Our love is often appreciated, yet less likely to be looked for again. We weren't equipped with the proper credentials to accommodate arrogance, so to these men we are flawed. Our legs won't spread like butter, so they keep us on back burners. Don't they understand we work best under pressure? I may stumble, but girls like me, we're not taught to kiss the ground you walk on. Again, that was Girls Like Me for the last time, I promise. Because last time didn't count because I was crying through it. But again, thank you guys so much for continuing to believe in me and continuing to watch and continuing to support and continuing to share my stuff, which I'm grateful for for those of you who do. I can't even talk. I'm so just out of it emotionally. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first episode of Written Red Wednesdays, and I hope to see you all back here next week.